Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. You all remember Dylann Roof. That's the monster who killed 9 innocent black people as they were praying in a church in Charleston, South Carolina. He gunned them down in cold blood. Eventually, the police found him.
Cowboy Mouse is going to be playing at Friday at the Flubber. I'm so excited about that. I'm going to head over to Science on the Rocks first and check out their...
Now is the time to buy at McKinney Chevrolet Buick. No one's going to make you a better deal. You can get a brand new 2015 Buick Enclave and save up to $6,000. $2,500 on the Buick Encore on selected models. Go see Matt and Cliff. They'll show you. McKinney Chevrolet 18. Up to 30% off. Greg's got it. Stainless steel French door refrigerator, only $9.99. And LG 55-inch
$14 from Officer Davis advised that will be the correct vehicle for
this
the
Thursday through
new
Saturday.
day.
Don't forget to download the HH Greg app to find daily deals. HHGreg.com, available 24/7. Buy online, pick up in stores, same day, always free. Top brands, low prices, fast delivery. Subject to credit report.
It's a serious problem for many men. In case certain parties or children are listening, we can't say what it is. Instead, here's a story about pitching a tent. Young Johnny used to pitch a tent with the slightest breeze. As he got older, things changed. He struggled to keep that tent up no matter how hard he tried. He took Viagra, Cialis, and still had issues. His camping life suffered until he heard about a guaranteed treatment from New Mail Medical with a special custom blend of medication, FDA approved and no surgery involved. New Mail Medical helped Johnny pitch a tent, keep it up, and enjoy timely camping like never before. Call 704-550-4122. That's 704-550-4122. They not only help you get your tent up, but prevent pitching too fast. Call today to learn how New Mail can help you. 704-550-4122. And if you don't respond to the medication on the first visit, that visit is free. NewMailMedical.com. Close. Never stop improving.
When they arrested this monster, they didn't throw him to the ground. They didn't rough him up. They didn't put their knee in his back. They simply put the handcuffs on him and had him get into the vehicle. In fact, they were so kind and courteous to this monster that when he said that he was hungry, they treated him to hamburgers. That's how they treated that monster. That's how they treated that damn devil after he killed 9 innocent black people. Now let's compare that to what happened to James Blake in New York. The brother was outside of the hotel, and a police officer just grabbed this brother, wrestled him to the ground, and put his knee in his brother's back. It's important to note that this officer was not in uniform. He was plain clothes. He didn't identify himself. He didn't say, "You're under arrest," or any of that. He just grabbed this brother up and threw him to the ground and put the cuffs on him. Now, if this brother was not a famous person, was not a rich person, then we wouldn't have heard anything about this. It would have been just another case of a black man being abused by these stinking cops. But James Blake is not just some ordinary person. The brother is a former tennis star. one of the top ranking tennis stars in the country. This is not somebody that can be painted as a no-good thug. This is not someone who meets the stereotype. This is a Harvard-educated black man. And I've noticed in a lot of the publications about this story, they emphasize the fact that he's biracial, as if that makes him even better than the average black man. But the point of the matter is, no one would even hear about this story if this brother wasn't famous, if he wasn't a tennis star. He would have just been another nigga roughed up by the police. So this situation has created a lot of news. And this is just another example of the double standards in this country. Here you have a killer, Dylann Roof. And I understand that he's in a completely different state and city and all that stuff. But if he can be arrested without incident, why is it that that couldn't happen in New York City? And apparently there was some kind of mistaken identity in this case. Apparently the officer thought that James Blake was someone else who was engaged in some kind of credit card scheme or fraud. You would think that the way that police officer threw James Blake down, you would think that he had just killed 9 people. You would think that he had committed some kind of heinous crime, when it all boils down to some allegations that someone else engaged in credit card fraud. And it turns out that the person that they accused of that crime wasn't even connected to the crime. So the bottom line is this: that officer had no legitimate reason whatsoever to throw that brother down to the ground and treat him like a monster, treat him like a criminal. He had no justification for using that kind of excessive force. And the thing that makes matters worse is this: that officer has many complaints against him for engaging in similar conduct, but yet that officer remains on the New York Police Department force. Why do officers like that remain in place, remain employed, so they can continue to abuse more people? This is just another example of the excesses of the New York Police Department. This is a department that has a record of stopping and frisking innocent African American and Latino men and women, depriving them of their basic human and civil rights, treating them with all kinds of disrespect and harassment. It's nothing new. Some of the worst cases of police brutality come out of New York. We all remember the case of Amadou Diallo, shot multiple times, an unarmed African shot multiple times by the police. We all remember the case of Abner Louima, a brother who was brutalized by the police. They rammed a plunger up his rectum. The brutality of the police in New York is nothing new. And we have to condemn this nonsense. And I hope that James Blake sues the New York Police Department, because this conduct is inexcusable. There's no justification for it whatsoever. Even if they say that he looked like that suspect, the officer should have identified himself and he should have told James Blake that he was under arrest and put the handcuffs on him simply and just arrest him like that. All people deserve to be treated with respect. But when it comes to black people, we're not even viewed as people. We're viewed as criminals. We're viewed as dangerous. So they treat us as such. This case is another reminder of how it doesn't matter how respectable somebody is. You can be Harvard educated like James Blake. You can be dressed appropriate like James Blake. You can speak the English language properly and conduct yourself like a good Negro peon, and these people will still treat you like a damn peon. That's the country we live in. That's the kind of society that we live in. We got to stand up. And I hope that people fight for some kind of change as a result of this. I mean, this is the city where the police strangled and choked a black man to death and no charges were brought against that police officer. There has to be a change. If they can treat this brother like that, they can treat any of us like that. And it's only for the grace of God that that brother didn't end up dead or something. Because you know they come up with all kinds of excuses to justify shooting a black man.